Hello, everybody. I'm going to see if I can make that a little bit brighter. Actually, that looks really bright. Let me turn that off. Hello, hello. Say hello when you pop on. Welcome to Take Two for our Tuesday live event. I have two things that I want to share with you today. So this is my second time live. You guys, I'm going to wait. It looks really dark. I was messing with my phone, but I'm going to turn this on and see if that helps brighten things up a little bit. So you can tell me if that looks okay. Hello, say hello when you pop on. Hi, Karen. How are you, my friend? So if you see the red live button, then you are catching me live. If you don't see that, then you are catching this on the replay. And earlier, oh my gosh, I forgot to bring it up. Hold on, let me see if I can have my husband go grab that for me. I painted our Uncle Sam. 1 second, you guys, don't go away. I'm going to see if my husband will bring that up for me. Honey? Would you go get my Uncle Sam and bring him to me, please? It's hanging on the front porch. Sorry about that. I was scrambling around because I realized I had to retake the picture of this kit because I was missing part of it in the original picture. I forgot to cut the little overlay pieces. Hello again, Miss Leanne. How are you? So this has been fun, and I think I kind of like doing the two lives in one day, you guys. It kind of just feels like a little less scrambled. I had a plan, so maybe we'll make this a regular thing. Thank you. Let me shut my door all the way, please. Okay, so earlier today, hi Debbie, how are you? Earlier today, we painted, hi Kelly, how are you? Thank you for sprinkling. We painted this cute little Uncle Sam door hanger. Well, I turned him into a door hanger. I was really kind of unsure what I wanted to do, so he could be a door hanger, which is what he's not a door hanger, he's a porch hanger on my house. So I just put the hanger on the back, which I glued on backwards. But I just hang him beside my front door. You also could use him and turn him into a yardstake, which would be really cute. I decided I wanted him by my front door, and I'm going to turn the star into a yardstake. So these are the two new Patriotic kits. Thank you, Leanne. Oh, thank you, Kelly. I'm glad to be back, actually. I had a nice break, refreshed, regroup, and I'm ready to rock and roll again. Hi, Pammy. So we have the two kits, and I wanted to do them right away because I wanted to be able to get them out in time for you to use for the 4th of July. Of course, you can use them all summer long. Lots of people like to decorate for Patriotic for the entire summer. Okay, so now we are going to turn this cute little star into a yardstake. I did just get this listed. He is listed. He is an Uncle Sam. If you go on my website, craftingwithkimber.com, and just type in Uncle Sam, he'll pop up. I gotta fix that light. I cannot handle that ring light in my glasses. I went through the whole last video with that, and I can't do it again. Oh my gosh, it's still doing it. Don't like that. You watched the replay and you loved it. Oh, good. I'm so happy. What was I saying before I got distracted? Welcome to my world, you guys. So, I forgot. Anyway, we are going to turn this cute little guy into a yardstake. When I designed him, he's a little smaller than I anticipated him to be. And I'll give you the measurements here. I think it's 10 inches tall. So I may go in, no, he's actually 13 inches tall. Maybe that's why I thought that it was gonna be big enough. So it's 13 by 8.5-ish. And yeah, that's, seems like it should be big enough, but when I cut it, I thought, oh my gosh, it looks kind of small. So we're gonna paint him up real cute like. I'm so glad you liked it. This one is going to be super easy. So the last video was about 2 hours, but I was doing lots of yakking. And so this also has a cute little sign that will hang down underneath it that says Liberty. And I thought that that was a real fun word to use, you know, because there's all kinds of, you know, freedom, all the things. I'm going to kind of trim up my little sponges here. You guys, I got really tired. It is super duper windy here this afternoon, and being outside in that cold air, I went out there and then I got sleepy because it was cold. Oh, thank you, Kelly, for that rating. Yes, you guys, it is going to be so cute. Okay, so I'm going to use the same colors that I used for our Uncle Sam. And the blue, I used Apple Barrel True Navy. For the red, I used, I think I used this Flamenco red. Yeah, because this is the one that was kind of runny for some reason. And then I don't know what color I'm going to paint the lettering, if I'm going to do that red or white. And then I'm going to do my stars in yellow, and I'm going to use King's Gold, which is one of my favorite yellows. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm also going to tell you that I just put black on there instead of true blue or true navy. I'm also going to tell you what I did here with the edges of all of my pieces. So after I got them cut out, I did use my Dremel tool, and I went around the edges and kind of beveled everything and gave it some fun little notches to make it look all rustic. I also took my Dremel tool. I love Flamenco red too, but it is runny. I don't really remember it being that runny. But I haven't been up here in a while either. So I also did sand the edges of my pieces. I've kind of been doing that a little more than I used to. Let me show you a piece, what it looks like when you don't do that. So because my pieces are laser cut, you know, it does burn, the laser actually burns it. So you have that brown, which I don't mind, but I accidentally sanded an edge on another piece a while back, and I thought, you know what, I kind of like the way that looks. It kind of gives it even more of a rustic look than just the plain brown. So the tool that I use is a Dremel tool, and I think Leanne looked it up for us on the last video, and it is called a stylus or styles or something like that. It's super duper light. Hi, Jerry. It is going to be another cute kit. It's super light. It has, I like to use these really big bits. It does have a, I always forget what these are called when I'm on the spot. It does have a mandrel. There we go. For the smaller bits, but I like these big ones because it takes care of a lot of business all at once. And so I did all of my pieces except for my sign. I forgot to do my little sign. So we're going to go ahead and paint the whole thing in the true blue navy. And I'm going to grab a nice big flat brush, get a little bit of water on it. Okay. I gotta calm down. I was running crazy because I had to take another picture before I started painting. Either that or cut another one. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a nice coat all over the front of it. And I think because it's going to be a yardstake, and I'm not sure which of the new flower beds I'm going to put it in. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint the back as well. And I'm going to do that before I nail it onto, or glue it on, and then nail it onto the yardstake so that it looks finished in case somebody does happen to see the back of it. A lot of times with my own personal stuff. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Hi, Kathy again. Thank you guys for hopping on and saying hello with me. I really appreciate it. A lot of times with my own stuff, I don't paint the backs if I'm going to just be putting it up on a shelf where I know nobody's going to see it. If I'm selling something like at a craft show, then I typically will give it a quick coat of something on the back. Even if it's just a white or, you know, whatever matches the front of the color, I'll just kind of give it a quick coat. Okay, let's set that off to the side and let that dry. And I'm not going to paint the edges, but I did make sure that I got all of my little divots, or I want to make sure. We're going to sand those edges like we did with Uncle Sam over there. But I like to make sure that all of that, it has a coat of paint on it as well. So this kit is up on the website. I thought that I did Uncle Sam before I came live earlier today. And then I sat down at the computer and, you know, they're always changing something, aren't they? So now in my Shopify store, which is where I list things, I don't sell on Etsy, but now they have something, it says something about Meta, and it wants a better description. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't click that, and so it did not post the kit. So I had to go back and redo it. Okay, now we have all these cute little pieces that are an overlay. And all of these have a little tiny bit of an offset. And you have to, these kind of were even giving me a fit. If you have this kit, it will help you to look at the picture before you start painting or before you start gluing things down, because it kind of is confusing. Like that one needs, let me think here. This one goes over here. No? Oh my goodness, see? So don't glue anything down until, wait a minute, there we go. It goes like that. So what I did is I just kind of did, I copied, like I traced the bottom half of the star, and then I just cut it into all of these little wavy lines. And so I want to make sure that we go red, white, red, white. Or on the picture, I think I have these blue. I'm going to have to decide on that. Hi, Mary. How are you? Welcome, you guys, tonight. Okay, before I go any further, I should have started this from the very beginning. I want to kind of talk about the Cotton Club. As I'm talking about this, it reminded me. So I have a file club, a monthly file club. It is called Kimber's Cotton Club. And the reason it is called the Cotton Club is because I wanted to offer cutting files for people who do not have a laser. So we all started, well, I started without a laser. So I started painting and cutting my own kits many, many, many years ago, more than 30 years ago. And I started with tool painting books and patterns and a scroll saw. So inside of the Cotton Club, I have not only the SVG files for laser users or for Cricut users, because you can also do these in paper crafts. But I wanted to be able to offer these to people who would like to create their own kits, but don't have a laser. Oh, thank you, Leanne. So I'm going to show you with every file, you will get an SVG file and you will also get a PDF file. So this is for Uncle Sam, but I'll just kind of show you how it all goes together. So it'll come, each piece will come with a drawing and then the instructions for the piece. Can you guys see what I'm doing here? I'll move that star out of the way. And so like this would go the hat, and then the the body, which you would line up to the base of the hat. Can you guys see that? And then you would kind of tape these together. And of course, you're going to cut all your other pieces. And then this one I have folded, so it would go right here. So you would just tape all of these pieces together. You would print everything out and you would tape all these pieces together. And then you would use this as your pattern to trace on your wood with graphite paper. So you would put the graphite paper underneath, face down onto the wood, and you would trace around your pattern, and then you would cut it with your scroll saw. Some of your best sellers. Oh gosh, that makes me so happy. Okay, so, and each piece will have, it's going to be backwards to you, but it'll have some light instructions on there, just like if you had an old tool painting book. And it also will come with an instruction sheet, a basic sheet, just to kind of tell you, you know, like what wood I used. I will tell you that with Uncle Sam, I did say to cut out his hat brim and I think even the stars and the hearts out of 1/4 inch wood, and I went ahead and cut them all out of chunky wood, and then I even did an overlay on the hat because I really like the chunky. So, and also I didn't think to tell you guys this in the earlier video. One of the things that you can do if you do have a laser that doesn't cut anything thicker than 1/4 inch, you can also cut out the big pieces with a scroll saw and then cut out all the other little pieces with your laser. And then you still have all your cute pieces, but you don't have to try to hand cut all those little things. Okay, so I showed you how to do that. And then of course, you know, like I said, all the other pieces are there with the instructions. So with the star, if you are in the Cuttin' Club, here's what I would suggest you do. And I did put this in the instructions. I would go ahead and cut, do I have that? I would go ahead and cut this whole piece. I would trace it onto my wood, onto the thinner wood, and I would cut this whole piece out as one piece. And then I would turn it around, I would trace those other lines on here, and then I would cut each one of these off with your scroll saw. And that would make it a lot easier than trying to cut each one of these individual pieces, if that makes sense. And then for the lettering, if you're going to be using a scroll saw, I would probably, if you have a Cricut or a Silhouette, you can actually then download the SVG file and cut the letters out. I believe that's what Debbie does, right? Debbie, are you still here? I believe that that's what Debbie does, is she cuts the lettering out, oh my gosh, with the, okay, that's my son. So she cuts them out with her Cricut or Silhouette, whichever one she has, and then paste those on there. You can also use a piece of graphite paper and just trace it off and hand letter it too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put another coat of blue on this. And then we'll get started on our red and white pieces. I want to see you guys really quick. I'm going to look at my picture so that I can remember what I did. Okay, so I did everything in blue. I was just making sure. Because inside my program, I can actually play with colors. And I love that. I don't know if you can do that inside of, you know, like some of the other programs, but Silhouette Studio you can. And so I can always just kind of flip things around and see what it will look like if I do it a different way or a different color, and I like that. So anyway, back to the Cuttin' Club. I want you guys to know, if you are new to my page, or if you've, you know, always wish that you could do your own stuff, but you don't have a laser and don't want to, you know, aren't interested in investing in one, even if you just want to cut for your own self, I want to let you know that that is available to you. And I haven't done the best job at promoting that. And of course, Facebook hasn't helped in the last couple of months. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. Oh, so that is what you do. You cut the lettering out with your Cricut. Do you have a Cricut or a Silhouette, Debbie? I'm a Silhouette girl. Oh, how did my brush get all wonky? I'm a Silhouette girl. I have had a Silhouette since about 2009. I was a Cricut girl. I was Team Cricut, and then I switched. Okay, so I'm just looking over there at my picture. I'm going to swipe my letters off of there. And I did not score this board for the lettering. I didn't really feel like it was necessary. I think it's pretty easy placement. But if you guys want me to do that, let me know and I can go back and do that really easy. I'm not really sure why I didn't, but okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the sign blue as well. And then I have to think, because on my original picture, I actually have these two blue, and I'm not sure that I want to do that. So we're gonna have to think that through. All right, and then for these other pieces, I'm gonna go red, white, red, and then we'll see about these. So I'm gonna use a sponge for these smaller pieces. Look at how runny that is. I just don't remember it being that runny. So weird. Okay, I'm gonna use that one. And we're going to do, look at how easy that is to paint, you guys, with a sponge. And we're not worrying about getting it on the edge because we do have our little bevels and we're going to be doing some sanding. And I'm going to try to keep these laying out how they're supposed to go. Red, white. Then these little guys are red. I'm looking over there at my picture on my computer. And then I just don't know if I want to do those in blue. I feel like the white, maybe when I did it in white, it just kind of looked like too much white. I cannot remember what I was thinking. But let's see. Let's try a different color blue. Let's try maybe or maybe try lightening up that blue. That's what we'll do. Let's go ahead and do our white. And I'm using antique parchment for my white instead of just a plain white. Because, yeah, that only leaves one stripe. One white stripe. I'm going to have to figure out this. So yeah, if you guys didn't catch the live earlier, and it was a 2-hour long live, so I understand that that is a long time, but you'll have to kind of scroll through and look and see what we did with our cute little chunky stars and heart things with the wire. It was so adorable. It turned out so cute. I was showing my husband and he's like, now, why did you do what made you think to do that with the wire? And I was like, well, let me tell you, I have these things that I bought, like, oh my gosh, you guys, probably back in, let's see. Oh, I'm going to say probably about 2010, maybe. I'm trying to think of which location I was at. And I used to order from a company called Honey and Me, which has really cute, fun, primitive stuff. And I think that that's where I got them, but they're so cute. Now I'm also going to paint the back of our star, or this piece, which is going to go on the back of this star cutout, because I don't want that to just be an open hole. I want to kind of put some color behind it, but I did want it cut out. So I did this star just slightly bigger, so you'll be able to glue it onto the back and have the white show through. And we don't have to have that perfect. And then I have, let's see, I'm going to do the King's Gold for the yellow. And you can paint your stars white if you choose. That's the great thing about the kits, is you get to decide what you want to do. The length of Uncle Sam was perfect. Yes. Did you cut him, Leanne? Did I miss that? Let's see. You score your designs with your laser on the chunky wood and then cut it with your scroll saw. Great idea. Great idea. That is a wonderful idea. Because then you don't have to trace all that stuff out. And Karen, what thickness of wood do you like to use for your for your kits? I was saying earlier today, back in the day, we always use like 3/4 inch, but my laser will cut 1/2 inch. And so I wish I could do 3/4 inch, and I haven't tried. It would go really slow. But then if I was hand cutting it would go really slow too. So, okay, I got some red on here. I'm going to wipe that off. And then I got to decide. Am I going to do these? I'm going to lay these down here. I think I like the idea of mixing just a tad bit of the antique parchment. And I'm talking like a drop, like 1 drop. We're going to see how this looks. And we're just going to lighten up that blue. Whoops, we got a thing there. I'm going to lighten up this blue just a smidge. And let's see. I'm going to use this brush. Rinse it out with soapy water first. Oh, I thought you were saying it was a perfect length because you cut it out. Yeah, he was a great length. And earlier I was telling the girls that you can cut him into pieces if you were cutting them to ship. Otherwise, there wouldn't really be any other reason. Okay, so what I did is I took the same color blue and I added like 1 part white and then like 3 drops of blue. 1 drop white, 3 drops of blue. And that makes it a little bit lighter so that it will stand out on the star. So let's do that. And then by the time we do all our fun fleckling and all the things, it will look cute, I think. So I'm just going around and getting my beveled edges there. Boop. I only have that 1 piece of white. Oh well, in my design picture, it looked fine. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with my plan. You usually use 3/4 inch pine. Usually your X tool doesn't cut the thicker pine. So do you use pine in your X tool? I keep saying that I'm going to try, and I have not done it yet. Using pine in I have a thunder laser. Hi, Mary. And I keep saying I'm going to try, and I don't know why I haven't. I mean, I've had it for like, this will be 4 years. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Let's put that there and do another coat of red. And I love painting these with sponges. And then we are going to hit everything with the hairdryer, I think. Actually, we'll let that dry a little bit on its own. Ah! No. We'll let that dry a little bit on its own. And then let's do our heart. And then I need to paint my lettering too. So do I have some tape up here? I have some green masking tape. So, whoops. going to fight with me. So how was your Tuesday? Hi, Jamie. The back of the star will be white. On this one, I'm not sure what color I'll paint it. I haven't really decided yet. Either or. The blue would probably cover faster. Okay, so, or yes, the back of that star. I get what you're saying. Okay, I'm going to see if I can scooch all these little letters on here and try to get them on this little piece of tape. This should be a tight squeeze. They don't all have to stick on there, just enough to hold them down. There we go. And then we'll take our white sponge, and I'm gonna sponge a little bit of that off, and we'll just sponge these as we go. Now, if you're painting these kits to sell, I'll give you a little tip. If you paint your board first, especially if you're going to be doing several, so if you're cutting them for like a craft booth or whatever, if you cut your board first, if you're using a laser, or excuse me, not cut your board, if you paint your board first, if you're using a laser, then you don't have to do this. They cut out nice. You can use some transfer tape over the top of it if you want to, because you will get like a little bit of a burn mark. Hi, Roxy. Oh, thank you so much, my friend. You would get a little bit of a burn if you did not use some transfer tape. But the other thing that you can do is if you paint your entire board and then you sand it down a little bit and spray it with an acrylic sealer like Krylon or whatever you use, and then you cut it with your laser, then that stuff will wipe right off. So all of that little burn mark, it'll wipe off, and so you won't have to mess with that. Okay, so do I have all my pieces? Let's give our yellow star a little bit more, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a warning that I'm going to turn on the hairdryer for like 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute, so that I can make sure all my pieces are dry before I start to sand my edges. So here's your warning. Turn your sound down if you don't want to hear it. Are you ready? Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn it on high, but I'll leave it down here. This is the one that I really want to make sure is dry. Spot there. And then I have these. That blue takes a little bit more to dry. Okay, you just make sure, I gotta pick these up, otherwise they're gonna go flying everywhere. Okay, I think we're good. Let's try this a little bit. All right, I think that's good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little sander here, our little gator sander, and I've got different pieces of sandpaper laying here. I'm just feeling them to see which one I want. I think this one, although that one has a lot of extra paint on it. So let me grab, got all my, that's pretty light. Let's do this one. So does it say, it doesn't say on the back of these what grid it is, but I want something that's going to take those edges off. So I'm going to put that piece on there, and then we'll start sanding. Here we go. So this is what's going to bring all of our cute little sanded edges off. Or bring it to life is what I always say. I'm going to go around the edges, and everywhere that I sanded, I beveled the edges, is going to come off. Move this here. And all those little divots are going to show up, and it's going to make it really fun and cute. Now, you don't have to do that. That's just how I like to do things. So let's turn it this way. So it's like the paint stays in the little divots that I make, and it sands it off of all the other places. My wood gets caught on this cotton. This does make a lot of dust. So I will hold this up and show you what I'm talking about with all those little divots. Now we have to get into these little grooves. And that is going to be a little bit more difficult to get the sander in there, but it can happen. I was also saying earlier, you don't have to use the whole Gator sander. You can actually take a piece of sandpaper if it's easier to get in there, and just kind of do it that way. I think I got enough there that I can do it though. This thing is so handy. And Leanne, okay, it's been a couple years now, but are you the one who first introduced me to the Gator sander? I believe that I was on a live one night, and I did not even know these things existed. And I made a comment about, I wish I could find a little tiny piece or a little tiny tool for sanding. And the next thing I knew, I had Happy Mail, and I think it was from Miss Leanne. Yes, the nail file works, and I actually have some somewhere. Was it you that bought that? It was you. Yes. And like I said, the next thing I knew, I had some Happy Mail, and I was like, how did I not know this? I had been painting for years. Anyway, so I'm kind of going a little heavy-handed in the middle. I really want to, well, and that's going to be covered up. So I'm going to go up here. I really want some of that wood to show through and make it really distressed. So let's get that off of there. Wipe that down, and I'm going to show you how fun that looks. Now, like I said, I do like things that are really distressed. So if that's not your style, then you don't have to do it that way. That's just how I like to do it. And while we are waiting for that while we finish up the other stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick coat on the back of this. And that can be drying so that when we get ready to glue everything together, that will already be painted. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's the back. Just something to kind of cover up all that raw wood. Might have got a little bit too much paint. And then that way, oh, I should have glued our little star on there. That's okay. Now when we get ready to put it on our stake, it will already be painted. And after I glue this onto the stake, I will go back, just like I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to go back with my finishing nail gun and put some finishing nails in there just to make sure that everything holds up well. Okay, we'll set that over there to dry while we finish up the rest. Okay, so this one I didn't sand. I did not bevel the edges, but we'll go ahead and do that with our Gator sander. Thank you for reminding me about the nail files too, Liam. Actually, I don't think I have any more left, but that was part of my craft supplies. I used to have those. Used them for paper crafting to kind of distress edges. Okay, I'm going to distress that up a little and leave that over there. Now we'll go do our kind of slightly different blue color here. Make sure we get our edges. Get a little bit in the middle. I just love, I'm going to hold this one up because I just love, see how you can see wherever I put the little divots, the paint stays in there and files away on other pieces. And I just think that that looks so cute. I need like a block of wood to set these on. I can't really do it on this cotton or it snags. Really rough that one up. Now, I like to wipe my sandpaper off when I'm switching colors, just so I don't smear another color into the paint, because that does happen. Dress that up a little bit, and then we're going to sand the edges. Or excuse me, we are going to ink the edges is what I meant to say. So Leanne, have you been cutting with your granddaughters yet? Let's see, will I seal it before I put it outside? Yes, Kelly, I will. And I see a very light, that's beautiful up there. Whoever said that, thank you so much. I will seal it. Thank you for asking that, because I was going to talk about that. So because these pieces are made out of a type of ply, what I use a product called Pure Bond, and it is a type of ply. And I learned the hard way that even if you do seal it really well, it will come apart. So I obviously will use this just for the summertime and bring it back in the winter. If I do put it outside, like in the new flower bed that has the wagon in it, I thought it would be super cute. And if it rains, I probably will go grab it and bring it inside as well, or at least bring it up to the porch. Because even if I do seal it, it's still after a while. I did my salon sign and I sealed the heck out of that, you guys. I don't remember what I used, but I used something liquid, and it still did it. It took, like almost the entire winter, but it still did. So I don't trust it. I think if it was just a sprinkle, it would be fine. But I will spray it with some Krylon, and then I will go back, and I think I'm going to, ooh, I dripped. I think I'm going to go back and, I don't know, maybe even take some like Mod Podge or something and put it along the outside edges of the big part, just so that it doesn't, just to give it a little bit more protection. I'll just like brush it on there and kind of seal it up. I'll get some of the waterproof Mod Podge. Okay, I think we have all of our pieces sanded. So now let's give them all a wipe here really quick. And then we're going to do some fleckling. And this one's probably not going to fleckle really good because I used that sandy ply and it has a lot of texture to it. So if it has texture, oh my gosh. Kimber, I just messed that up. Had blue on there. Sandy ply is very heavily textured. And so it does not fleckle well unless you sand the heck out of it. Okay, I am just making a mess out of this. It is, I had blue paint on that piece of paper towel. So So I'm trying to, luckily this isn't really going to show too much. It's just there for the color. Okay, we're going to leave that over there to dry. Okay, so now let's bring all of our pieces here. It is a mess. You guys, I got to do something here. I got to get rid of this dust because it's driving me crazy. So 5-second warning. I'm going to take my hair dryer and I'm going to blow this off. Okay. That dust is everywhere. It's dusty business. Okay, so our heart, our stars, our heart, our sign, our letters. I don't think I'm gonna sand those yet. Okay, so now get our main star over here. Move everything out of the way. And we are going to grab my favorite toothbrush. Get it nice and wet. Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. Am I missing more comments, you guys? Sandy says, twice in one day. I know. I gotta open this window, guys. I was saying I kind of like doing the 2 videos in one day because it's like I only have to make a mess in my craft room one time and then I can clean it up and be done for the week. I can kind of plan. So I'm not going to promise, but maybe I was thinking today, maybe I'll have like a 2 for Tuesday normal thing. I kind of like that. And I like going live in the morning. Okay. So we're going to use our antique parchment. Couple little drops there. Boop. And we're going to load up our toothbrush. Work that in. I like to really work it into the bristles. And then I'm going to do a test on my paper over here. I'm going to need a little bit more water. So I'm going to lift this up. So when I say I'm going to need a little bit more water, I literally just dip the top of my toothbrush into that water. Because if you get too much water in there, your drops will get really big. And then I'm going to stand back and I'm just going to run my thumb over my toothbrush and give everything some nice fleckles. You want your paint to move, obviously, but you don't want it to like splatter really wet paint, because if you do that, that paint is just it'll look like a mess. So you want your paint to be relatively dry when you do that, or thick, I should say, so that you get nice splatters instead of like water splotches. Okay, now I think that for the white, I might do just a little bit of red. What do you guys think of that? I think so. So I just put a couple drops there. I don't think, as watery as this paint is, that I'm going to need any extra water. Let me check it out. I think that will be fine. And I don't think I want it on the blue. So I'm just going to do the red, and then I'm going to do our letters. I didn't sand them, but I think they'll be fine. A little bit more. Maybe a tiny, tiny drop of water. Those are very fine splatters. Okay. We're good and splattered. Hey, I need to splatter our star back. So I need another drop. Oops. That was more than one drop. Okay. We're going to practice. And then I'm going to hold my star way over here out of everything and just splatter that. That's going to be cute back there. Okay. Good to go. Let's see. Just got done watching your 1-week-old grandson. Aw. That's so precious. You guys, my grandbabies are now, Nora's going to be 8 in October. So she's 7.5. Kyson is 19 months. And Finn is 17 months because they are 2 months apart. Okay, real quick, I need to give this a dry. So turn down your sound. I did the white stripe. It's got just a little bit of red on it. It probably could use a little bit more. I actually like the amount of fleckles on the star. I got a couple big ones on there, and these are really, really light. So I think I'm going to go back and do that a little bit darker. I'll do that. I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't want red. I don't want red on everything else. See, those are super fine too. That's okay. We'll live with it. So congratulations on, that's your first grandbaby. How fun. They're so fun. And even though they're so fun and precious when they're that little, it gets even more fun when they get older, because when they start doing funny things and oh my gosh, it is so fun. You're going to be a Grammy at the end of August, your first granddaughter. I'm Grammy too. I love Grammy. Okay, so are my fleckles dry? I don't want to flip this over. Let me just hit this really quick, guys, before I turn it over, because I want to glue our white star on the back. Actually, we can go ahead and do the front part first. That needs to dry, I think. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to lay this out first. Remember, because you don't want to glue something down and have it be wrong. And then you're stuck with it. So that goes there. The white. They do fit together. And I thought that I did a little bit more of an offset. Maybe if it goes down. So if you're tracing this out to cut it with a jigsaw, or I guess you would do it, or a scroll saw, one of the two, then you might want to just trace right inside the lines just to make it a little bit smaller, you guys. That is gonna be so cute. So cute. Okay. Kind of moving those down a little bit. So you can see how that's going to look. And see, I wasn't real sure about doing the bottom in the blue, but I think that that's going to be fine. And then let's lay that there. Let's get our Liberty pieces, our lettering, laid out on our board. Now again, this isn't scored, but you can look at the picture. All you got to do is make sure that you allow room for your stars on the side. I got some red paint splatter on that one. And just kind of lay it all out. Liberty. This always makes me think of that Liberty commercial. Hi, Malia, again. I'm still coughing. Okay, so that's got to go a little bit further over. That is the one thing about being a Grammy, though, is I feel like I catch every little thing from those little monkeys. And it's inevitable. Okay. So I got everything all laid out. You can just kind of make these as wonky, as crooked, as straight as you want to. We're going to put that little dot up there. And now we are ready to glue. There we go. Okay. These I'm going to glue down as whole pieces. Put the glue on the piece. But on the lettering, I will do my dip method. Okay. just kind of make sure that it spreads around there. Make sure, I should do my bottom pieces next to make sure that they will stay in place and be my guide and stick in. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the bottom first. That way I don't slip up and make those two push everything down too far. Oops, there we go. And you can leave a little bit of space in between there. They don't have to nest together. That was kind of my whole idea, was to kind of leave a little bit of extra space in between each one. Oops, didn't glue this one down yet. And again, I think that, well, I think it'd be fine for a season to make sure. You can use wood glue, or you can use some finishing nails on this as well. It might be a good idea. You know what I didn't do? I didn't ink up my edges of my white. Do I want to go back and do that? You know what? I think that with the sanding, it's going to be fine. I think. I don't actually think I need to do any inking on that. Normally on lighter pieces, I would go back and do a little inking. But I think it's going to be fine. You're making your friend here in South Dakota create both of my kits. Oh, that'll be fun. You know, I think girls' nights with kits are so fun. I have a lady that orders, I've shared it before. She's in charge of craft night for her church. And so she will do like a pre-order with the church ladies. And then she'll order a whole bunch of kits, and they get together for craft night and just have a ladies' night. Okay, I'm not really sure about that yet. So let's do the back of our star really quick so we know where we're going to put our stick. And again, this has just enough space to fit right over that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue and go right along the very, very, very edges. I don't really want it, I got glue on the top, or paint on the top of that. I don't want it to seep out side onto the star, and there's not that much of an offset, so you don't need to go very far. So I'll hold this up and show you what I'm talking about here. So I just barely put that along the outside edge, and then I'll flip our little star over and lay it down. Make sure you don't see any daylight through there. Flip it around. Let me see, I got a little bit right there. Flip it around, and voila, you got your cutout star. And that's what it looks like on the back. So I should paint the back of that star too. Make sure. Yep. Whoop. Nope, it's shiny. I was like, oops, I still see daylight, but it's just the shine. Okay, so we'll let that be for a couple minutes. And then we'll glue our cute little heart on this. And I think I'm going to do what I did earlier with, so earlier I showed how we wired the heart and the star together, because I have some old ornament things that I've purchased that I just thought were adorable. So I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'm going to take, where's my wire? I just had it earlier. I have some, where'd it go? I'll tell you guys, I can lose stuff so quick. I literally just had it earlier today. I have some black, but that's not what I want to use. Huh. And I'll find it as soon as, if I don't do this, then I will find it as soon as I glue that down. There's a little piece. Let's use this. I have a little piece. Okay, so this is actually thicker, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a tail that I can curl, and I'm just going to wire this around. I just think it looks so cute. And I'm just going to do it so I have, well, I'll have like, there we go. And then I'll bring it up there. No, I want it up here like this. I want it on either side. Now this isn't for everybody. I just think it looks really cute. So what I was going to say is I have those, but I also saw in one of my old toll painting books where they did the same-ish thing. So now I'm going to take just a skinny paintbrush. You can use a pencil or whatever you want to use. And I'm going to curl that wire. And I'll tuck that down. And then I'll curl this too. Now, you will have to have something that gives you, I call them risers. Let me just twist that around so it's not pokey. I call them risers. I love that. And I was going to bring one up, but I have a flower center that I'll use here because I'm going to flatten this out. With that wire being on the back of there, let's see. Oh, thank you, Malia. With that wire being on the back of there, it's not going to lay flat and allow us to glue that down. So I'm going to put this little flower center that I had laying around. And first I'll glue that to the back of my heart. And then that will raise that up above that wire. Can you see that? And so then I have a flat surface to glue down. And I should do two. Let's do two. That gives us more room. So I don't know what these flowers were from, but they've been laying on my craft table for a while. Then we'll put a little bit of glue there. And now that will give us a place to glue that down. We'll hold that for a minute. And now we're going to glue our lettering down. And I'm going to use a piece of paper. I'll use one of these that I printed out. So this is how I like to do little things like letters or whatever. Now, if you're going to be selling kits, you could also use the 3M tape on the back and charge a little bit more for those because that is expensive. If you want to save the headache of people having to do little bits of gluing. I did that at Christmas and it was wonderful. And let's see, I should have a pair of tweezers, which I always can't find, and then I find as soon as I'm done. So I guess I'll just use my fingers. Okay, so I put my glue down there and I just spread it around, and then I'll take my letters and I just dip them, and then I kind of offload to make sure that none's gonna, leach out. And then you just lay them down. And you can do, like, I think to keep everything even, I'm going to go ahead and now like glue down my E, if that makes sense, because then it kind of keeps everything in place. I won't lose my place. If that makes sense. That's how I like to do it. If you don't have scores. But I knew that I was going to be painting this a dark color, and the letters were kind of skinny. Anyway, so I figured it wasn't really necessary to use score lines. And my T was a little wonky, kind of leaning sideways, and I think I'm going to leave it that way. There we go. And I'm going to need a little bit more. And then I didn't lay my T wonky. I meant to. Let's do a wonky Y then. I just like to check and make sure that it has a coverage on all the back of it so that nothing is going to fall off. There we go. Boop. And I'm not really my stars. I'm just kind of placing how I think they look cute. And I think I still have my B. I'm going to need a little bit more glue. It's already so cute. Thank you so much. Oops, I can feel myself getting glued to that B. Oh, hi Brenda again. Hello, my friend. How are you? And okay, let's see. That's going to fit right there. And then, you know, an easier way to do this is actually to do like cursive letters, but I just couldn't find anything that looked fun. Okay, so there's our cute little Liberty, and it's going to be backwards. So here's our star. How cute is that, you guys? Is that not so cute? I love the dimension of our little flag there. Oh, thank you, Jenny. And I look at that. Doesn't that just give it just so much cuteness? I don't even think it looks as cute in the picture as it does in real life. I think it's adorable. I think it's super cute. It just gives it a little something, you know? Okay, so now we're done with that. Throw that stinky thing away. That glue is, whew. Okay, you guys, where did my wire go? Because I had a whole roll of it, and it was like right here. Or did I put it? No? Okay, well, I have this, but this is really thin black wire. So this isn't what I would normally use. I like this for like antenna on my bees and stuff like that. But otherwise, I like the thicker wire, and I can't even see where I put it. Ah. Okay, so I'm going to thread this through the back, do some curlies. Yes, Sandy, it is a kit. So I listed both the Uncle Sam and this Liberty Star. So you just have to type in Liberty, or just type in star, and it will come up. You guys can go to craftingwithkimber.com. They are both listed. The star does not have the proper picture because I had to go back and redo that real fast right before we came on. I'm trying to decide how long I want this, so I'm not going to curl that quite yet. Okay, so now to attach it to the stick, because like I said, this is going to be a yardstake. So don't laugh because I had my angles all wrong. I just had this stick was in my scrap wood pile. Okay. And so I just took the chop saw and I just made a point in it. I probably will be, is it behind me, the wire? Probably. That was a good, oops, I need to put this away. Behind me, do you see it somewhere? But no, I don't see it behind me. I was thinking when you said that maybe I threw it in this because I was using all these for for shading earlier. But do you see it, Kelly? Because you know what? I've had to have you guys help me find stuff before. That's not unusual. Okay, so I just grabbed this stick. I cut, I made it into a point because, did I drop it? I don't see it down there. It's just, as soon as I get off this video, it will just show up. That's always what happens. And I don't know why. I don't know why that happens. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way. And I want to make sure, let's see, that I get this. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to glue this right. I want to make sure I have enough. And I also want to make sure that I have it on there the way that I want. So make sure that everything's turned right. And also, these sticks are not going to last more than a season. Okay, so I think that looks good if it's straight. So what I'm going to do, this is going to take a second. I probably should have plugged my hot glue gun in. I'm going to move everything out of the way. And then I'm going to put some glue on here, and I'm going to super glue it down, which will hold it for now. But then I will want to go and put some finishing nails through the front of it. Yeah, I don't know how that happens, you guys. Hello, Barb. Let's see. It's not showing up in the shop. Oh, Brenda, it's not. It should come up under, what did you type in? Type in, I think it's still up there on my computer. Let me make sure that I hit active. Let me look. It is under Chunky Wonky Yardstake. Oh, that's why it doesn't say star. Oh, here, let me change that really quick, you guys. Yes, Chunky Wonky Star Yardstake. Is it? It says it's active. Let me refresh. There's no picture yet, though. Yeah, it's showing up for me. It says Chunky Wonky Star Yardstake. Try again and see if it comes up. Okay, so that's on there. That's how that's going to go. And then what I'm going to do is, I forgot to look and see if I had a push pin. That's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to take a push pin and just kind of work that in there. Let me know if that works, Brenda, because it's showing up. It's there. There is no picture yet, though, because I had the wrong one. And then I want to see how long I want my wire. I do want to put some curl in my wire, though, so I'm going to take my pencil and wrap that around. Yeah, see, this isn't heavy wire, so it's not as fun. Okay, and then I want to see how I want it to hang. So I will use my wire here. And there's no description either. You found it? Okay. Perfect. And then I will use, actually, where's my little, I used this, made my curly. Let's see. It would look cute on an old yardstick. What a great idea. So Janice, the colors that I used were Flamenco Red by Apple Barrel, King's Gold by Apple Barrel for my stars, Antique Parchment by Apple Barrel for the white, and then the blue I used True Navy by Apple Barrel, and for the bottom part to kind of give it a little bit of color contrast, I put like 3 drops of blue and 1 drop of white to kind of like I said, to give that a little bit of color contrast. Okay, and then my little Liberty sign, oops, is just gonna hang like that on my yardstick. So you could put a little bit of Velcro back here if you wanted it to hang a certain way. But otherwise, there it is. That's it, you guys. Easy peasy. I love it. So you could leave that out all summer. It could be for 4th of July. And if you decorate for like in a patriotic theme, this could stay out all the time. If you wanted to turn this into like a porch hanger, or thank you, my friends. If you wanted to turn this into like a porch hanger, you could drill holes in either end of the arm of the star and just run your wire or jute up around. And then you could maybe, for your sign, you could maybe move it up a little bit. Maybe you could have like a little board behind it. Or I love Sandy's idea of the yardstick. That would look so cute. I love that idea. See, I love it. You guys give the best ideas. And so you could totally just turn this into, you could actually even take, if for the Liberty sign, you could actually drill some holes in the bottom arm. So you can hang it this way and then hang your sign from the bottom with curly wire through here and here. And then just curl the ends. And then it could sit a little wonky like that if you wanted it to. So there you go. Thank you guys for hanging out with me ×2 today. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm going to take a picture of this finished and upload the new picture so that I can finish that listing, but I did want to let you guys know that it was up there. I wanted to have them both done in one day, so if you were interested in ordering both of them, then you would only have to do one shipping. And that's it. We're all done. That was an easy peasy one. But I love the cutout. I just love the, look at that. So cute. See that? I did something similar to this with the porch hanger in the frame last year too. But I think it had, what did it have in it? I think it had a star that was similar to this in there. Now I can't really remember. So if you're interested in the patriotic kits, just type in patriotic and it should all of it should come up. Because I usually tag them. So all right, ladies. Well, it's getting late for some of you. It is about 6:45 here in Oregon. I still got lots of daylight. I got to go check on my baby chickens. Last night, one of them got out and was outside its little yard. And that's all I need is for something to... Thank you so much, Brenda. I am glad to be back. I really am. I just, like I said earlier today, I needed that break. I needed to regroup, needed to kind of get some other loose ends tied up and, oh, it's 9:50 there. And so it was nice to have that little break. But I feel refreshed and I'm ready to get Sharon again. And so I do like this 2 on Tuesday thing. So what do you guys think of that? I think that might be a thing. Tuesdays is a good day for me. I watch the baby on Fridays now, and so Fridays are not good. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right, ladies, you have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go down and see what's for dinner, and I will catch you all a little later. I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next time. It's 8:50 in Texas. Yep. Me, you. Me too. I see. Okay. Well, you guys have a great night and I will see you next time. Oh, good. I'm glad that's a good day. I think Tuesdays is a good day for, yeah, I think it's a good day. There's a lot of sports that happen on Wednesdays. I remember my kids, like in Little League stuff, there was always like a game on Wednesday or something. So I think Wednesdays is good. So that might just, or excuse me, I think Tuesdays is good. So that just might be our new normal. All right. All right, ladies. We'll see you later. Bye.